What's up, my peoples? This is Gandhi's Thoughts, episode 10, which doesn't actually... we ended up not going along with the number of days I'm on. I'm currently on day number 12. But regardless, it is number 10. So regardless, I'm happy that we are here today to do the double digits, man. This is a big round of applause for me because I'm not the most dedicated guy in the world in regards to content, but... I did find my Slytherin shirt, and other than that, it's been a pretty awful day in every way, shape, and form. I had to take my truck in to get the transmission fluid checked because on Toyotas, for whatever reason, they don't add a dipstick on the transmission fluid, so you can't even do anything yourself. God bless imports, right? But so let's get into what I want to talk about today, and I'm going to make it. It's going to be relatively short because I want to bust out a new segment that I'm also going to be talking about as well today. But let's talk about. What I want to talk about today is maps and the importance maps actually play on the game as a whole. Now, when you look at all the great maps in the past, there is a power position on the map. Every map has this power position that you have to control in order to win, right? It's awesome, right? So, sure, it gets identified a little bit later, and it also can change. Let's look at Capture the Flag on the Pit, for example. At the beginning in 2008, there was times where, you would rush, someone would actually rush sword and then try to get control of top sniper, even though that was like the team slayer strategy later on, but they would push from sword side as well. Right, like Carbon in 2009 used to rush 3 guys training off the beginning of the game and push and go onto their green. That's awesome. That was the beginning. But then towards the end, everyone knew you had to control green and you had to control empty. These were power positions for Capture the Flag, and that's what dictated the game. Unfortunately, when I look at Halo 4, there isn't those maps yet. And what I mean by that is every time I play certain maps on Halo, I have a hard time figuring out what actually is a power position. Like, let's take Simplex, for example. Simplex, a lot of people like purple, right? Because the railgun drops purple. But if you hold purple, it doesn't mean you're going to win the game. It's not equivalent to pink in Halo 2 on midship. Now, pink in Halo 2 on midship, if you held pink the entire game, probably 80-20, you were going to end up winning that game, right? Everyone remembers that back in Halo 2. But if you hold purple all game in Simplex, it doesn't mean you're going to win the game at all. It just kind of means like you're there, right? There needs to be, something has to be implemented to where there's like another level on purple, right? So let's look at purple, and it's 3 levels, right? Or it's 2 levels, right? You have the bottom where the pulse grenades are, right underneath the platform where the railgun spawns, and you have the ramp that goes up. So that's level 2. Purple level 2, purple level 1. If there's another level where you can get a bird's eye view of the entire map, or at least of their base where you can get shots down, then that turns into a power position. And then that is something you want to hold. That is something that is imperative for your team to get control of in order to win the game. But we don't have that. We do not have that right now, and I think that really, really sucks. It puts a dampering on everything for the competitive play, but nonetheless, it's what we have. Correct? So we can't complain all that much. The only map that almost seems like the only map that I actually can look and say is something's worth holding is like Haven. You obviously, from my experience, and I'm not saying these are the strats by any stretch because I'm only on day 12 and I haven't watched any of the pros, but Haven, it seems as though you kind of want to hold one side of the map, right? Especially with extraction, whatever side you armed it, you want to hold that side of the map, obviously, right? Because you get to see the view on it. But there's no power position still. There has to be something that you have to go out of your way to get control of, right? Let's take a look at, let's just take a look at, Blue Base and Hang 'em High in Halo 1. If you guys are unfamiliar with Hang 'em High in Halo 1, Google it, because it is probably one of the best 2v2 maps to date, period, ever, period, and 4v4 maps. So, looking at Hang 'em High, you had Red Base, which is this little shitty fucking tower that had catwalks all over the place. Blue Base was this big, beautiful mansion, Persian Emperor style, you know what I'm saying? And it was awesome. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful specimen to control. you had to control blue base. Now, not necessarily in Halo 1, it was a little bit different because you could control rockets and pin them at blue, but really you wanted control of that blue base. And you always kept pushing for blue control. So your team was constantly making progress to get control of blue. And if you failed like time after time after time after time, the other team is going to get this lead and they're going to win. That's the point of a power position on the map. But in Halo 4, there isn't a map that really has that power spot. And it's something that we are lacking as a whole. Now, I don't know what Forgers can do out there, but I think it's, and I haven't played Skyline and the new maps on the Majestic map pack, so I can't put in all of my 2 cents, but really, we need something that's a power position. Another great example is, let's take Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek or Battle Canyon, I think is what they ended up calling it in Halo Reach. I think it was Battle Canyon. That was a great map. And the reason it was a great map is because you have Top Rocket Arch and you have red base. That is what you wanted to hold. Now, although holding red doesn't necessarily mean you win the game, it means that 60-40, if you hold red, you're going to win the game. Power position, there's rockets up there, there's a sniper on both sides of the map, there's an overshield down low. Perfect. That is what we're looking for as a competitive map. You want to have a power position. You want to be rewarded for having map control. You don't want to be... You don't want to get slapped in the face from when you kill all 4 of them and you have to come back, right? Like, you kill all 4 of them, you should be able to take full control over the map and you should actually make them pay. And if you don't make them pay, then you look like shit. That's kind of how it balances out, at least in this head. Now, I could be wrong, as always, but this is how I feel. When I play these maps, I don't know, it seems it's more run and gun over hold and control. That's all I'm saying. Moving forward. The next thing I want to talk about is something that's a big problem for me. And since I know it's a problem for me, I know it's a problem for other people. So, a big problem that I have with competitive Halo is my settings, right? Like, there's this thing called a setting dilemma. And I don't know necessarily how it is for you people, but I'll explain to you what it's like for me. So for me, after, you want to stay on a set setting, right? Like, let's say everyone plays 3 bumper jumper, right? And you like 3 bumper jumper and you're playing well on it, okay? For me, what happens is I get into this groove where it feels good to me, right? I feel good, I'm shooting well, but, there's some instances where I just can't really hit that whip shot, right? Or I'm trying to spin around and melee this guy, and it's not happening because I'm too slow. So then what I do is I change my sensitivity, right? I go up to 4, or I go up to 5, okay? Normal. But then that doesn't work out for me. Really, what ends up happening here is when you change sensitivities or when you change button layouts, in my case, I have this tendency to go from bumper jumper to boxer to default to recon. The problem is I don't want... I have a problem with feeling like I'm settling for something, right? Like, I always think that there's something out there that I'm missing that could be better. Which is a life lesson in itself, right? Like, I can apply that to everything in this world, right? Like, I can apply that to relationships, you name it. Jobs, school. I always feel like there's something out there that I'm missing. But in reality, what I have in front of me is working for me. And that is something that, people really need to start taking note of because it is very, very important. So what the lesson to be learned here is that whenever you find a setting that you're comfortable with and you can consistently play and you can keep getting better, hold on to that setting and cherish it. Don't let it go. Do not let it go away. You want to really just stick with it and grind it out for as long as you can. Now, on the same sense of settings, on the same topic rather, stuff you should not play. Sensitivities you should not play. Right now, there is exceptions to the rule, and the exception disproves the rule. Blah, whatever. Fuck you. The exception, what everyone is basically playing on is, if you know nothing about the professional scene, The majority of players play from 3 sensitivity to 5 sensitivity. That is it. You never, very rarely do you see a 6 sense or 7 sense player out there, and never will you see a 2 sense or a 1 sense player. Now, Scott, why not? One is going to make your sense, it's going to make your shots all nice and steady. No, incorrect. 1 sense, you don't have a good enough respawn time, right? Like, the big thing about competitive Halo is that you have to respond to your teammates' callouts. Everything can change at the drop of a dime. That's what makes it so exciting. That's what makes play-by-play fucking awesome, right? Like, I get to sit there and I get to showcase everything that is happening in front of me, and I get to illustrate that out to the viewer. So it's a beautiful thing. But so what the problem here is with 1 sense, if you're, like, let's just take Simplex, right? If you're running up to pink and you're right at the light rifle or DMR, whatever it is, and someone calls out top yellow, you're going to go like this. You see how long that is? You won't be able to respond to the one shot. You're not going to be able to respond and get that kill. That is a big, big problem. So when you play 3 cents, you're going to be able to, get up there a little bit quicker, right? 5 cents, you're going to get there quick. Now, here comes the problem, right? What sensitivity is right for you? What sensitivity is right for you? That depends. That depends on your playstyle. That depends on everything. There is no one set rule for everyone. There isn't. I've seen people have success on 5 cents. For me personally, I've always had success on 5 cents. This game, I cannot do anything higher than 3 cents, even though I want to try to get to 5 cents. Like, that's my goal. That is exactly where I want to be, but I can't do it, right? But so I really like 3 cents right now. 3 cents is doing it for me, and that's that. But what sense is good for you? Whatever you can control. Clearly, a little bit faster is going to be better, capping it at right about 5 sensitivity. Don't go crazy with 6. No one likes the devil's number, and if you're not religious, I don't care. No one likes the number 6 that much. I don't like the number. Yeah, I know, it's a badass shirt. You don't have to tell me. I love it. But the 6 cents, you stick right between 3 and 5, and that's going to be your comfort zone. That's going to be what's good for you. A lot of people like 4. There's a lot of players out there who like 4. Snipedown was actually telling me that he switches between 4 and 5 depending on the monitor. So if you want to consult with, the best player in the game about what sense you should play on depending on the monitor, by all means, go talk to Snipedown, because he's definitely in a position to talk about it at a higher level than I am. But what I'm here to tell you is that if you're playing on a sensitivity outside of 3 to 5, you should probably reconsider it. There's only been 1 player in the history of competitive Halo who actually, no, 2. I'm sorry, I'm a liar. There's only been 2 players in competitive Halo history who have had success with sensitivities higher than 5. One was Naded. Naded played on 7 cents in 2007, and he also played on 8 cents in 2007. So he contributes for 1 person. The other person was G-Spot, but G-Spot, he played on 10 sensitivity. Now, G-Spot never won an event. Naded has never won an event. These are things you got to think about. Now, is the sensitivity, does correlation prove causation? Absolutely not. It doesn't. But it could. That's what's so intriguing. So right now on Fox News, and I'm saying, listen, video games, people who play video games, there's an increase in shooting. They're angry, and these people are the people who kill people, right? That's a correlation. Fuck that. If you ever hear that on the news, laugh at them. Say, listen, we get it. You're trying really hard. Stop it. But so G-Spot and Naded are the exception to the rule. It is it. That is it. Other than that, everyone stays close to home with 3 cents to 5 cents. Now, here's the thing. There's going to be times where you're going to be in a battle and you're going to be grinding. You're going to stay on, let's say you're staying on 4 cents for a very, very long time. There's going to be times in battles where you feel like you can't get, you can't just whip that shot up there. Your snipe's like just this far behind, like you're hitting here and you need to be hitting here, right? Like you're missing. Like I'm strafing and you're missing. You're missing. And you're like, well, fuck, I have to, speed it up a notch, right? And then I'm strafing, bam, I'm fucking out. rest in pieces, right? Perfect. Those times are going to happen. But the key is you have to look at consistency. And this is where this takes it to another level of pro and how to get good, right? What you have to do is when you make that switch over to that sensitivity, what you need to do is go to your theater and watch your gameplays. Watch your gameplays and decide for you what is the better sense. Don't just base it off of kill. Actually, no, I'm a liar. You can base it on kills as well. Look at your positioning. I'm sure there's multiple sites online that can show you like a heat map as to where you've been. Look at your positioning. Look at, the battles you won, look at the battles you lost, and decide if that sensitivity is right for you. Look at it very objectively. Look at it as, this game was okay, I changed my sensitivity, let's watch it, let's see how it goes. Awesome. That's gonna help. Even if you're not changing your sensitivity, you should be looking at that. You should be always watching your gameplays. Try to watch one a day. Try to watch, not even one a day. Because that's too much. I don't even want to say that. Try to watch about 3 gameplays a week. By watching 3 gameplays of yourself a week that are at random, you're going to be able to pick up on some tendencies, right? It's kind of like listening to, have you ever listened to yourself talking? You're like, oh, fuck, I can't do it, right? Like, it sucks. It takes getting used to. You're like, oh my god, I always say, oh. I say like all the time, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and you fucking hate it, right? That's the same thing that's going to happen when you're playing. When you're playing, you're going to say, oh my god, I can't believe I pushed that spot. I don't look good right there. Like, what was I thinking? These are little tendencies that are going to help you out. Then you can say, you know what, when I'm in this position and this same scenario is going to happen again, I'm not going to push this guy. I'm going to stay right here. And then he's going to jump out, because history has a knack of repeating himself. And when he jumps out, I'm going to be ready for him with my aimer, and then boom, rest in pieces, move along, kid. Or, he's strafing around, and you come around the right, and melee him right there. Bam! He's done. He's out. You get the kill, you move on. And these are the things that you have to be working on in order to get yourself to that next level. These are the little tendencies that are going to excel your gameplay. I know, it's really good. It's a lot to take in. It's because it's badass. So the last thing I want to talk about, this is this is one of my quicker episodes here because I'm getting ready to do this right next. The next thing I wanted to talk about is I'm starting a new show, a live show that I'll be throwing up on YouTube as well, but not, it's not going to be tailored for YouTube. It's going to be tailored for live streaming. What it's going to be is I'm going to take the most frustrating part of Halo, which is playing by yourself in matchmaking in Team Throwdown. I'm going to take the most frustrating part of Halo and not play with anyone, going in by myself, headset off, not communicating to my teammates, only talking to the stream. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts. It's probably going to be hour and a half. It's going to be called Inside the Mind of Gandhi. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to show you guys why I'm positioning myself in these places, what to go for here, times the power weapons drop, how to win this battle, what I should be doing here, why that guy lost. Because a lot of people watch live streams, and the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people watch live streams and they go, why is this guy holding this, right? Like, everyone always wants to know. And then they ask the chat, and then everyone from the chat gives them different reasons. But it's not necessarily the reason why he's holding it, why that person is actually there. So that is what I'm going to try to bring. I'm going to fire that up as soon as this is done. I just got to take it down, change the title, and I'll be ready to go. So don't go anywhere. I'm getting ready to throw up Inside the Mind of Gandhi. I hope everyone stays. If not, it's cool. I still love you. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like this if you like it, and leave me feedback. If you're tired of Gandhi's thoughts, let me know that they suck. If you like them, favorite it. It's cool. But so, I will be right back. You stay tuned, you savages.